Hey y'all, so today I'm actually doing this YouTube video because I got so many questions as usual. People were DMing me, asking me a lot of questions about something, and one really stood out to me. And I want to pause this music because I want to make sure you guys hear the whole entire thing. Okay, so it was like, I know you hate the idea of a cheap date, and I'm pretty indifferent about it. But what I'm wondering is it necessarily bad if it's on its own? From what I've seen from your post, your aversion to it seems to be caused by the fact that women are having sex at the end of those cheap dates. But if a woman wasn't planning on having sex for a long time with anyone anyway, until a serious emotional relationship has been established, is there something wrong with the cheap date itself? Okay, so first, my aversion to it is not about the sex thing, even though I already know that commonly happens on top of smoke dates, coffee dates and everything like that. But generally, my aversion to it is just because I have better things to do. That's that's it. I have better things to do than to show up for something cheap. I don't take myself to anything cheap, so I don't really care to go on to something or attend something that I feel like is not the well thought out or not properly planned, because first of all, it shows me that you really have you're showing a lack of effort to me, and secondly, it shows me like you're not really the type that I'm going to have fun with that night. I'm not going to have fun hanging out, doing something, going on a walk. I'm not going to ever have fun doing that. So why would I show up to something where that is the theme? Also, why would I show up to a coffee date when I don't need to leave my house for coffee? I just think it's just a waste of time for me. And that's just how I feel about it. I also feel like if you show up to something like that, then it's going to be kind of sending them a message that this type of stuff is okay, and they're going to keep planning cheap stuff, or you're going to be a year into it because you tried to settle and tried to look like, oh, I'm not the type that's looking for your money and everything, and then they're going to be playing all cheap dates, and all your whole relationship is going to be a bunch of nothing. It's going to be a huge waste of your time. It's not about the sex. I just feel like that's something that a lot of people do. But I'm not necessarily tripping off the sex part. Not necessarily tripping off the sex part. My thing is, I don't do it. I don't even go out for cheap things with my friends. So if a random guy who just met me invites me out to something cheap, or even a guy that I know, especially one that knows me, invites me to something cheap, then it's like you clearly are getting the wrong messages from me, because I'm not somebody who looks like they enjoy going to a coffee shop, who looks like they enjoy going on walks. I'm not that person. Like, can you see me going for a walk or hanging out in a coffee shop? No. Especially if you see my social media and everything, I'm always going places. I'm always going to relatively expensive places, nice places, because I like experiences. I don't care about a date. I'm not desperate enough to show up to something that's cheap or not well thought out just because I want that opportunity that bad. I don't want anything that bad that I would accept something that's not well thought out or well invested into. And that goes for dates, that goes for working with certain businesses, that goes for anything that I involve myself in. I'm not going to invest any of my time in something that is just not well done. So I think everybody tries to make what I say surrounding money and surrounding money is important. I think they try to make it surrounding money and getting paid and everything, but honestly, it's just about having standards and knowing that I have better things to do with my life. you're going to invite me to a coffee date, I could be doing something like sitting at home watching some videos, some of my favorite videos, or learning about stocks and investing or anything like that. I feel like that's such a useless, like, waste of my time. I don't care about having a conversation over coffee. You can call me and have that conversation. I don't need to get up and get dressed and take time out of my day to go and visit a coffee shop for a conversation. If you want to invite me out, then you need to create an experience. You want to, if you're inviting me out, I expect that you're trying to show me an experience that will be memorable, something that will make me want to come back and invest more time with you and show you more attention. But if you're calling me out to do something that I can do by myself, or is not even a great use of my time, then that's just showing me you're kind of careless about whether or not it'll be memorable for me. You're just trying to get me to kind of monkey dance for you and see if I'm going to run around the city to see you, and I'm not. I have better things to do. So that's just how I feel about it. I have better things to do. I have standards for myself, and I don't do those things in my free time. So why would I do that? Why would I show up for that if that's not what I do? You know? So I don't really care what guys or people think about it, because I just assume that those people just don't have better things to do with their time. And I don't really, or they're probably desperate for attention, desperate for a relationship, desperate for a man. I cannot see myself getting into an emotional relationship with a man that did not plan something on our first experience together, plan something memorable for our first experience together. And usually when it's something memorable, it costs money, and that's just the reality. I'm not really into the whole we can do something special for cheap, because usually cheap is not, it's not well done. And I don't care how many people try to send me a bunch of ideas and everything like that. I'm just not into it. I'm not into it. I'm never going to be into it, and I never had to be into it, and that has worked for me. In fact, so many people call me entitled, rude, everything like that, but honestly, that entitlement and that rudeness has made men step up for me in other ways that I'm pretty sure they have never stepped up before. In fact, they've told me that because they wanted to impress me, and they knew I have standards, very high standards for myself and my time is valuable, so I don't really plan on changing that. And because they saw that and they wanted this opportunity with me, then they changed the way that they presented themselves. And they knew that that was the only way that they were going to survive with me. Otherwise, it's not really beneficial for me. And I don't plan on ever changing that. I think people try to be very existentialist, or I don't know, try to overthink it more than it is. But it's like your first day is your first impression, our first experience together. Make it memorable, make it something I want to come back to. Otherwise, I would just feel like you're being lazy about it, and that's usually what it is, because guys are not they're not thinking futuristically or really deep into it when they're asking you out on cheap things. I feel like that's more of women thinking it's deeper than what it is, and it was so well thought out, and he was just considering his money, or that he was just trying to consider something that's not risky, you know. And my thing is, if you feel like a normal date as an adult is risky, then you probably should not be dating. Your focuses should be somewhere else. It should be somewhere else. I don't feel bad about that at all, because like I tell people all the time, my first date was with a guy who actually shoveled snow and worked on his neighbor's lawns to make $60 in order to take me to a movie date and a small dinner. And my little sister has had the same experiences too. Little guys would save up their allowances or do some extra yard work or something in the neighborhood to go out of their way to buy her a teddy bear or some little jewelry or lip gloss and fake makeup kits to just show her that she was special. So I don't really, and this is when we were like 14, 15, 16. Like, so I don't really care about an adult who cannot put aside $60 for a normal date, because I've seen kids do it. And yeah, I feel like that also comes from that. A lot of people not seeing a lot of good dating experiences when they were young, but my mom was very serious about it. So, yeah, I don't really feel any type of way about it. And that rudeness and that entitlement has never hurt me in a dating game, and that's exactly why I'm international dating coach now. So yeah, so you guys can leave a comment below, or you can leave it on my Instagram at actual black mermaid, or you can leave it at on my Twitter at Imani underscore Yvonne or ABM on Twitter. So yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Love you guys.